We're staying in town, so we thought we'd quickly stop at the CN pile. It's actually kind of nice when it's just slightly raining because everything's nice and wet, and it's easier to see the sodalite. And I don't know where I put it, but I did find a rock with a couple tiny zircons. Let's see, I think it's this guy. This one. Right. Maybe it wasn't this one. I don't know. There was one. I put it over here somewhere.
That one right there, I think.
Was it that one? Oh, perfect. Thank you, Tony. Let's see. Ah, yes. Here we go. So this one, we got some small zircons. Nothing crazy, but you know, take it home, bash it up. You never know if there's bigger ones in there. The rest becomes nice garden rocks, you know. But you can see the blue showing up. There's other colors. There's some yellow. Saw some pink somewhere. Just fun stuff. More yellow and some blue. The blue is the sodalite. The yellow, I believe, is cancrinite. But just actually kind of nice. We grabbed something to eat and we're just staying in town, so we're just looking around. Some more, a little vein of sodalite, a little dark blue. Just fun stuff. So Tony found this. It's got a zircon there, but more interestingly, it's got that, whatever these light blue blobs are. I know you can find apatite in this material. It's uncommon, but I don't think it's apatite, but that is definitely unusual. I've never seen this before, so if any of you folks know what this is, please do let me know. So here we got some of that pink mineral from here. It doesn't show up as well on the camera, but this is a nice kind of light, vibrant pink in person. I'll throw up the name. I think it might just be a variety of not cancrinite, Hackmanite, but I'll double check. I know there's some examples online. Couple little zircons got freed, plus this was the one I already showed you, but nothing crazy. A couple nice specimens for Tony to take home because he's got no zircon, so I was trying to get him a couple specimens, even if they're small. Then he'll at least have some examples. So we're just checking out some of the fresher holes dug by people, because you never know what they miss, because you know, when most of the time when people are digging here, the stuff that they dig up is dusty. Sure enough, this piece of sodalite, kind of veiny, and then this piece was nearby too. Almost has a faint crystal shape. From what I remember, you can find like sodalite crystals in Bancroft. It's rare, and I don't think you can usually find it from the quarry that this material comes from, but that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's actually kind of fun doing this in just the light rain. It's not too uncomfortable, it's not too cold, and there's some interesting stuff popping up, so we're just gonna keep looking. You never know what else might be there, so we'll just keep poking around. Maybe we can find one or two more chunks with some nicer, larger zircons. That's ultimately my goal, but I can't complain with a couple nice pieces of sodalite as well. This is definitely new. People haven't dug this out as much as last year, so we'll poke around in here and see if we got anything interesting. But you can see all the colors kind of pop when it's wet. Let's see, can we spot anything? Right there, we got some sodalite there. A little fragment of sodalite. Nothing crazy. Looking for the big blue chunks, of course, that they missed, but you can see it keeps going deep down, so. But I'll poke around here, you never know what they might have missed. And we'll see if I find anything interesting, or if Tony finds anything interesting, we'll share it with you guys. Here's another nice dark blue piece of sodalite. See how blue it is. It's pretty intense. And then we got some more material with zircons in it. Right there and there. And then this piece flaked off of it. It's got a tiny little perfect zircon. If we zoom in. It's a nice little perfect one. Got a nice, bright, vibrant cancronite chunk. But yeah, find some interesting stuff. I think we're gonna get out of here soon, so I'll grab my hammer and chisel and break off a couple pieces of the interesting stuff I want to take home and then leave the rest. One more tiny zircon before we head back to the hotel. A little damage on the back, but you know, almost all there. So here we have our CN rock pile finds. Now I will say I cheated a little bit. I threw in a couple specimens from a later trip. The first trip was with my friend Tony, which is what the trip video part of this video. That's with Tony. Later on, I went out with my friend Greg. He was visiting from out of province, and I wanted to take him to a couple spots that I thought would be good to check out. So a couple of these are from then, but let's take a look. We did end up finding a couple nice pieces with some nice blue sodalite in it. One of them kind of had veins, and then this one kind of has actually kind of a crystal shape to it, if you see. And I'll hit it with the UV light because some of the sodalite here does fluoresce like an orange color. On both trips, some yellow cancronite was found. Both of these have cancronite. This vein, kind of smudged vein, is cancronite, and then this kind of thin smear of a vein is also cancronite. Now, sometimes cancronite can be other colors than yellow. On the trip with Tony, I did find one piece with pink in it. It's a very light kind of pastel-y pink, and it doesn't show up well on camera, but this is pink, I promise. And then with the trip with Greg, I found more pink. Again, it's not showing up well, and it's a lot lighter pastel color, but there is pink here, which is, I believe, the pink cancronite. Now, both trips I tried looking for zircons. On Tony's trip, we found a couple small zircons, and I gave those to Tony because he didn't have any examples. On the trip with my friend Greg, the later trip, I did find one piece that had two very large broken crystals, which was a very sad and depressing find. Greg ended up keeping that because he also didn't have really any zircon material from the location, so I was fine with that. But I thought I'd at least show you the biggest zircon I found at the CN pile, just to show you how big they can possibly get. So here's my biggest one. It's about 1 centimeter, most likely. There's some of it still in matrix, and then it's got a couple smaller zircons. Let's actually try and take a closer look at the specimen. Here we go. There's one nice larger zircon with some smaller ones around it. This was actually found on my first trip ever. I'll actually put a link in the video below to that trip. Plus, I'll link a nighttime video that I did, because I don't have any nighttime hunting in this video, even though I did do some nighttime hunting. But yeah, this is an example of on the larger size, and actually the ones I found with Greg, if they had been whole, they probably would have been maybe 2 centimeters, which is probably on the very top end. I don't think I maybe heard of a couple people finding above like 1 to 2 centimeters, but this is a pretty decent size for the CN pile, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's nice and sharp and undamaged, so I can't complain, especially since it was the first time I had ever collected there and I found a monster one like this. Last but definitely not least, we have this chunk of material. It has some Hackmanite in it, and Hackmanite at this location, if you want to check out one of the videos below, the Fluorescent one, there's a lot of Fluorescent Hackmanite I find in that video, but Hackmanite but Hackmanite fluoresces a nice kind of vibrant orange color, like a neon orange. Kind of similar to sodalite, but sodalite's a bit more muted, whereas Hackmanite can be a bit more fiery. But in rare cases, Hackmanite has this really interesting additional optical phenomenon, which I am going to show you. So right now, you can see, as I'm showing you, it's basically white. There's white with a couple other colors, but the Hackmanite itself is white, the Hackmanite in this specimen. Now, if I grab my UV light and turn it on, you can see the Hackmanite in here fluoresces a nice bright orange. And you can see there's like a rough crystal shape, or two rough crystal shapes actually. That's why I picked this one up in the first place. But now if I turn my UV light off, you'll see the Hackmanite has turned purple. Now this color change is known as tenebrescence. Basically what happens is the electrons in the Hackmanite atoms get excited by the UV light and they start to glow because they jump up in orbit. So these electrons are orbiting the atom, the Hackmanite atom, and them jumping up in orbit is what causes the glow. But usually after you turn off the UV light, they jump back down in orbit. But in some cases, they don't. And because of that, you get this long color change. And then slowly over time, due to its exposure to visible light, the color will go back to white. Now, this purple that you see in front of you right now is kind of muted. In person, I don't know why the camera is not picking it up well, but in person, this purple is a lot more of a darker grape jelly. But no matter what, this is my first piece of Tenebrescent Hackmanite, so I am quite happy. This was an accidental find. I didn't even find this in the sunlight because the UV rays from the sunlight would have turned this purple. It just happened to find its way in my UV light, and I just noticed some weird crystal shapes, and I also noticed how bright it is. You can see how bright it is, and the fact that actually in dark light, for whatever reason, this Hackmanite phosphoresces, which means it glows for a little longer, like it glows for a little longer than what the UV light is hitting it with, and it glows like this kind of dark purpley pink. Now, I have collected Tenebrescent Hackmanite before. I'll put a link in the description below to that location, but it was a different location than this one. So this is my first piece of Tenebrescent Hackmanite from the CN rock pile, which is really exciting. I'm very happy to have found that. Now, I thought I'd also quickly show you before we wrap up this video the sodalite as well. You can see it fluoresces as well, but it's kind of this lighter, kind of almost peachy orange is the best way to describe it. But yeah, very exciting nonetheless. The CN pile is a very interesting place to collect, whether it be during daylight or at night with your UV lights. Now, I will say the best time to go is just during or right before the Bancroft Jamboree, because the county of Bancroft does seem to turn over the pile every year, and it's just before, usually it's about a week before the Jamboree, which is the first weekend of August, the long weekend of August. That's when that occurs. That's a big rock show that happens in Bancroft, and it brings in a lot of people. So they like to overturn the pile. So best time to go is right in that period of time, right after a rainfall. Then you'll find lots of new fresh material. But this brings us to the end of the video. I hoped you liked what you saw. Please, in the description, let me know what you found the most interesting. I'm going to guess a lot of people are going to find this Tenebrescent Hackmanite very interesting. But I want to thank you folks for watching. Please, if you haven't already, do hit that subscription button and the like button. That helps out the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.